Hello everyone, it's Rick Passek, FlyFish Fanatic. Welcome to my tying bench. Today we're going to be tying a little Stillwater Caddis emerger. This one is actually off of in page 42 of the Osprey fly box. So this one is it's a Brian Chan fly. Um, Really good fly. Has been for many years. It's obviously my own twist. I always put my own twist on all of these. So, but it's yeah, page 42 out of the Osprey Fly books, Stillwater Caddis Emerger from Brian Chan. That's what we're tying. So let's get her going. We're gonna start in the vise today with a Hends BL550. It's a cling hammer hook. I like the curve on these cling hammers for emerger patterns. So thread, I'm going to be using some Semperfli classic waxed in a pale olive. For the tail, we're going to be using some Semperfli Antron. For the body, we're going to be using some Semperfli Kapok dubbing. We're going to use that Caddis green, right there, that one, Caddis green. For the rib, we're going to be using some Semperfli mirror tinsel, 132 mirror. It's the Mirage tinsel, Mirage flash or Mirage. Uh, it's like a pearl, right? So it gives off that kind of that bluey greeny kind of colors when when light hits it. For the hackle, we're going to be using some brown cotton. And then for the wing, let's call it. You guys know if you guys watch my channel much, I absolutely love reindeer, so that's what I'm going to be using is reindeer instead of regular deer. I just find this stuff so much. It's got so much more movement, and it floats just as high as deer, and it's just got so much more movement, and I find it easier to work with. So, alrighty, let's get her going. So, I'm just gonna tie on my. Hold on, I just had it knotted on my hand there. Tie on my classic waxed. Come back about halfway, tear it off. I come back all the way down around the corner, almost onto the vise. Just come back. Take a piece of that Antron. And I'm going to tie it extra long just so I can cut that later to how I like it when I take it off the vise. So I'm just going to catch that in, just hold it onto the top. And I want to tie this in right back around that corner. I want this thing hanging down. So right around that corner there. I'm going to cut off my excess there. And then I'm going to take a piece of the Mirage mirror tinsel. It's got that, like it's kind of hard to see, but it's got that really bluey green. It depends on the thread you use, what kind of color you get if you're just putting on a straight onto the shank. But with this, it's gonna take on a real greeny kind of sparkly green hue because it's gonna be a green bodied dubbing. So put that back here out of my way. I think I'm just gonna get my little, where is he? Or my little magnet go. I had a little magnet that I use here. I just grab a new one because I bought this at one of those little Japanese confectionery stores or whatever. And yeah, it's very similar to the one that Loon makes, but it's you get 5 of them for half the price that Loon is. Boom, just keeps all the material out of the way, right? So now I'm going to wax my thread very nicely. Want lots of wax on this. I'm going to put the Kapok dubbing in here. Now the Kapok, if you work it too much, it'll be tight, and you don't really want it too tight. I mean, you don't want too thick of a body, but you don't want a super tight body either. So you don't want to work this stuff too much. You see how much I didn't play with it too much. So I'll just get it so it starts. The reason I'm using this Kapok dubbing is because the Kapok dubbing is from the Kapok tree, and it's the stuff that used to be inside the old 60s and 70s life jackets. So this stuff floats forever. That's what it's why they used it in the life jackets, right? So about there, I'm going to stop there. Now I'm going to take my rib. I'm just going to 3 or 4, maybe 5 ribs at the most. Or let's get that one. It's going to be buried anyway. Not going to see that one. Cut that off. I hope this my microphone is doing a little bit better. I've been having problems with it. It's been crackling and stuff. So I did get a new lapel mic. I'm going to start using that soon here. I just haven't had a chance to use it yet. So now I'm going to take my reindeer. Just I already got a piece cut into my hair stacker. And of course, I got all these reminders and my phone when I do videos. Or just turned it down. So now I've got about that much. So it's not a huge amount. And I want it twice as long as my body there, or thorax section, because I'm going to do there. And then I want that about there. So I'm going to tie it in right there. Couple, 2, 3 loose turns, come forward a little bit, loose turns, and then I'm going to tighten it down. Okay. And then I'm going to cut all that off, all that stuff that sits forward, all the butt sections there. And you see how it all sat on top? That's what I want. I don't want this to turn, to spin, right? I don't want to spin the deer here. I just want to sit it on top. So now I can tie off, make sure all those butt ends are nice and tight. I'm going to come back to about here. And I'm going to take a piece of my brown cock hackle. Now you can use green as well. The brown is just to represent the thorax, the legs, which are usually a little darker. So tied that on. And now I'm going to use my magnet again, just keep that out of the way. Get more of that Caddis green Kapok dubbing. Again, don't overwork it. A little bit more. You don't want to overwork this Kapok dubbing. It's great stuff, but I find that if you overwork it, it can end up in a tight noodle and then it looks weird. So now I'm just going to wrap 3, 4 turns here. You don't want to do too many because you still want to see that underbody green. And you don't want, because this is going to get folded over, you don't want it to look too thick. Then it looks unnatural. It doesn't look like it looks like there's too many legs. So I'm just going to sweep all that back just to make sure I've got it all controlled. And then I'm going to take all my deer hair, all that deer hair. Now you can do this with CDC as well, but all that deer hair and bring it forward and just kind of hold it there. And then I'm just going to loose wrap and then tighten. Just make sure that sits on top there. A little bit of a head there. Now I'm going to take my whip finishing tool. I'm going to whip finish right there, right where it is. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm just going to take the slightest little bit amount of Sally's just because of where I'm whip finishing it. I don't want to do that with a applicator. So this way it's, it's right on just the thread. Another 3-turn whip finish. Get nice tighten. Whip that off. And if there's any of these little stragglers, you can just grab them and get rid of them. One of the reasons I like having a pair of tweezers here at my bench, because you can grab those little things that are in the way. Now, mind you, that being said, sometimes having these little scraggly bits is good because it makes it look more natural. So I just pushed a little bit of that, a little bit of the thread away from the eye. Now I'm going to just take it out for a second, and I'm just going to trim that shuck. That shuck's way too long, so I'm going to trim that shuck about half that length. And again, if you don't get it all, it's actually not bad because it makes it look a little bit more natural. So um, put it back in, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So there we go. There's the finished fly. That's it. It's like I said, it's fairly simple. If you've got some of the longer ones here that you don't like, you can always pull them out, right? There's a couple there that are a little longer than the others. And that's it. It's fairly simple fly to tie. But with the addition of the Kapok instead of the um, like olive dubbing, like regular dubbing, which will take on water and not float. This has got the Kapok that'll float. It's got the reindeer wing and wing case, the back that'll help it float. Plus the Hackle, right? The Hackle will hold this in that surface film, right? So this will sit kind of like. Let's just get this. It'll sit something like this in the surface film, just like that, right? So you'll have this sticking out. The hackle will sit on top of the water. Even this will it'll sit nice. So, and then this makes it look like it's stuck in chuck. Really deadly little fly. And it's like I said, just leave it on a dry line. Just leave it there. The odd quick little pop. Let it sit. Maybe do a slow figure eight retrieve for a bit. Let it sit. Don't work this one too aggressively at all. You want this really slow. It's supposed to signify that stuck in the shuck caddis, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you've subscribed, thank you. If you have not, please consider doing so. And we'll see you guys all on the next tying video. Tie lines, everyone.